So we had a career question submitted to us, and we will post a link in the description of this video and in the top comment. That'll take you to a page where you can submit a career question, and we'll try to get it answered on the show. This particular question goes: can you have it all, like 100% at full speed, or do you have to divide what you have and just give a little bit to all things? Please answer without using the word balance. That word is lame, too easy to use. So, um, appreciate the question and the candidness of it. I don't like the word balance because I think it's one of those things that we all want to hear. And I hate when we tell ourselves a lot of things and we end up lying to ourselves. I always say that the lies we believe the most are the ones we tell ourselves. And that's how we make ourselves feel good. It's how we make ourselves feel like it's all going to be okay. When I look at my own success, when I look at the success of everyone I know that is an entrepreneur or, in a high-flying career in the corporate world, we don't talk balance. I look at some people have to balance. How complicated is your life, for example? Are you, single and you can just work all the time and do whatever you want? Do you have a partner? Do you have kids? And then at that point, you might want balance. And then if you don't, then you got to start looking at, well, what kind of sacrifices do I have to make? For example, I know people in the music industry that have kids and they probably are on the road, 100 plus days a year and they don't get to see their families. There is no balance there, okay? It's one of those things that, people can say it's balanced because you're on the road 100 days, 150 days, and then you come home and then you try to spend as much time with your kids as possible. But it's like no matter how much time you spend with them, you're not going to make up for the missed 100 days. This is where sacrifice comes in. And I think a lot of times we don't want to make sacrifices. We want to have it all and then have no sacrifice. I don't think it works that way. I know a lot of people that I've talked to, for example, they want to be, 24 years old and make $100,000 a year, working 40 hours a week, and have like 8 weeks of vacation. And it's like, I don't personally know anybody that does that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but anyone I know that's making six figures, and I'm not talking just $100,000 and $1,000, people that are making $200,000, $300,000, $500,000, 40 hours a week is part time. If you can find a way to do it, more power to you. I just don't personally know anybody, and I know a lot of people that run a lot of companies. And that's where it's a matter of there are sacrifices. I'm sure someone out there has figured out they can work exactly 8 hours a day, and they can spend exactly 3 hours a day with their kids and then 2 hours with their partner, and they still got time for their hobbies. I'm sure there's someone out there that's figured it out. I think things come and go in pulses. And I'll give you an example. Like some weeks, you just have to work 50 hours. Some weeks, you got to work 60 hours. Other weeks, you might only have to work 30 hours or 20 hours. What position are you at in life right now? Did you have a big trust fund? It's probably a lot easier for you to sit back and have work-life balance than it was for me because I didn't grow up with any money. I had to spend my 20s and 30s grinding it out because there's no inheritance coming my way. I take care of, my father, for example. So there's all these different things that get factored in when it's like, well, can you have it all without using the word balance? It's a lot easier to have that balance when you already got money. For everyone else that's out there trying to grind, trying to build a career, trying to build a business, I don't know anyone that built a business working 40 hours a week. Everyone I know was on the grind 7 days a week, 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day. And even then, it's hard to get a business off the ground. I've done it several times. You got to put horse blinders on, and you have to become just obsessed with the goal. And I've watched many people go out of business trying to get their startups moving because they couldn't do that. If I I invest in businesses, for example. If I'm looking at someone that says, they want me to invest a bunch of money in their company, but they feel that they shouldn't have to work more than 40 hours, that conversation's done. Um, I can't explain it because you only really know if you've lived it, and I've lived it multiple times. It takes every ounce of effort you have for years to often get a company off the ground unless you get lucky. So, no, I don't think when you're trying to do something like that, you're just not going to have balance. But again, can you have it all in the sense that this week I had to work a lot and next week I can take more time for my hobbies? Sure. In the same sense, when my buddy comes off the road, he's going to come home and spend as much time as he can with his family. But he is going to make that sacrifice. And you can call that balance, but it's not balance, right? It was 100 days of sacrifice, no matter how you look at that. So we like to try to tell ourselves that we can have it all, but there is no perfect world. Bad things happen. Schedules don't stay the same. I know people tried to have it all. They end up getting divorced. And that completely screws up their life schedules. Their career paths don't work out the way they thought, they did. They lost money. Like there's so many things coming at you. I don't think life just stays on an even keel. So, but my thought is, if you look at anyone, you look at the amount of effort that goes into becoming a professional sports player, going to the Olympics, to getting a startup off the ground. There is so much energy and focus. It's like an obsession to achieve that high of a goal that it's nearly impossible to quote unquote have it all with balance. You do make sacrifices. Most people will. And I would say a lot of the people that I ran into, especially in the startup world that didn't make it, they just didn't have that obsession. They weren't willing to make the sacrifices. They weren't willing to go, 20 hours a day to just achieve the goal. So no, I don't think you can have it all and not have to make some kind of sacrifice along the way. So I don't want to say balance because I know you said the word's lame. I do think you can have some balance, but not in this LinkedIn article work-life balance where you have 8 hours of work and 2 hours with your kids and an hour with your spouse. And then I gotta start saying, well, what about time for you? What's your hobbies? What about your passions? What about the things you want to do? There is no perfect cookie cutter week for everybody unless you're just rich, which is not 99% of America. So my thought is, if you want to achieve a high goal, you're just going to have to make sacrifices, and you're going to have to say, what am I willing to give up to chase this dream and chase that goal? You're either comfortable with that or you're not. So I hope that answered your question. If not, feel free to follow up with me, and I'll tell you some more things you don't want to hear. Again, check out the link in the description or the top comment if you have your own career or business question you would like us to answer. Drop it, and we'll see if we can get back to you on the show. But until then, we will catch you on the next one.